From Overbrook High School in Pine Hill, New Jersey, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting presents Tri-County Conference Baseball. This afternoon, or I should say this morning, we've got Good Friday baseball between Timber Creek and Overbrook. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Wilkins. I'll be joined by David Cohen later on today. Well, I guess now, but we've got a good one coming up between two teams that aren't all that familiar. That just blew out my left ear. All right, so we've got two teams coming off of some interesting matchups against each other. Overbrook's 2-0. They're playing their third game in 3 days. They walked off Glassboro on Wednesday, and then they mercy ruled Deptford 15-3 on Thursday. So they're going to try to get their third win in a row going into the Easter break. They play Pennsville on Tuesday, and we'll be there for that game as well. And then Timber Creek coming in at 1-1. They lost to Washington Township but beat CCTS. We'll have more of that after the break because I don't know if you heard, but I think they're going to play the national anthem. We'll be back in just a second.
Welcome to Overbrook High School, home of the Rams. Please.
All right, let's try that again. We're here from Overbrook High School in Pine Hill for Tri-County Conference Baseball on Good Friday as Overbrook hosts Timber Creek. This is our first time seeing both of these teams in 2 years. The last time both of these teams were on DWB was 2024 for baseball. But Timber Creek coming into this game with a 1-1 record. They lost to Washington Township on opening day. Then they took care of CCTS 12-2. And then for the Overbrook Rams, 2 wins in 2 games for the Rams to open up their season. 7-6 walk-off victory over Glassboro, and then a 15-3 win over Deptford, which is now 1-3 on Thursday. So they're going to have Easter weekend off, and then they'll go to Pennsville on Tuesday, Shalleck on Thursday, and that will be their spring break matchup with 2 Salem County road games. But starting on the hill for the Overbrook Rams will be the right-hander Chase Teramagra. Last season as a freshman, only had 2 1/3 innings with 2 walks, 2 Ks, a 6 ERA, and a 2.14 whip. So Timber Creek getting a relatively new face on the hill this afternoon as he'll face a Timber Creek lineup that consists of Tyler McCullough at short. Colin Keene is your catcher batting second. Ryan Dobrylowski is the left fielder batting third. Following him will be Devin Giacchetto in the first base position. It'll be Anthony Hedenberg pitching and designated hitting today. And then in right field, Preston Williams batting sixth. Anthony Appalucci is your designated hitter batting seventh. Jack Chudzinski in center field. And Danny Curtin at third base. McCullough leads us off. First pitch is low and away. And we are underway from Overbrook. McCullough, the senior, cracks this one out towards right field. This one's straight away, and it'll be taken in for the first out of the ball game.
For Timber Creek, number 42, Colin Keene.
Colin Keene, the batter, occupying the left side batter's box. The utility man hit 208 last year, 15 for 72, 4 extra base hits, 9 walks, 7 hit by pitches, and 3 stolen bases. Teramagra up and away, 1-0. Timber Creek starting a new era this season in Sicklerville with Miles Taylor, new head coach of the Chargers, taking over for John Cates as that one skips away. And it'll be 2-0. Cates was the head coach of Timber Creek from 2018 to 2025. He left the program during the offseason, and Miles Taylor took over with it being announced in February. He's a 2011 grad of Timber Creek, pitched at Coppin State, and graduated from there in 2016, a Division I member of the Northeastern Conference, the NEC. And a fun fact that he told us is that one time when he was pitching in college, he threw a no-hitter versus Lehigh, but lost because the defense allowed too many errors, and the final score was 1-0. That's going to be a 4-pitch walk to Keene, and that's going to put a runner on first for Dobrowski, the left fielder. Courtesy runner at first base for Timber Creek for the catcher Keene. It'll be number 3, Bryson Monitzer. So McCullough flew out to right. Keene walks. And Dobrowski will be the batter with 1 away here in the top of the first.
Timber Creek will go down to Myrtle Beach after today's game, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday down there next week. That
ball's laced into left field. That's a base hit for Dobrowski. 1 out single puts 2 runners on here off of the sophomore right-hander. And this is going to bring up Devin Giacchetto. It's a massive sticker on the back of his helmet. Showing a lot of pride for the Chargers, though. The Chargers only had 1 season with more than 12 wins with John Cates as the head coach. But they were relatively consistent throughout those years. I mean, obviously the Tri-County Liberty is a hard division to play in, with Delsea being a yearly contender year in and year out. And it seems like even Cumberland starting out with a good year. They're 4-1 after knocking off Vineland earlier this week. Giacchetto laces this one. Center field might have had a bad step. It's over the head. Coming around third. Monitzer will score. And a stop sign at third base. RBI double Devin Giacchetto. And the hits keep coming for Timber Creek back to back. And it's 1-0 Chargers. And now Hedenberg's going to try to help his own cause here. Now with 2 runners in scoring position. Never a better time for it. As Timber Creek's off to a hot start.
We could tell that ball was laced off the bat. The #1 rule in the outfield, first step back, and center fielder there just rushed in and it beat him over his head.
So Keene, his runner Monitzer comes around to score. But a base hit by Dobrowski. He's now on third as that ball's high. But I would say that Miles Taylor has inherited a pretty good roster. A lot of 2027s and 2028s on this roster. Hedenberg being another one, a junior. This is only his 13th at bat. He is still without a hit, but he is pitching and DHing today. Miles Taylor trying to get him into more of a two-way player. 0 for 6 so far on the season. Had 3 innings versus Washington Township in the season opener last Tuesday, the 31st. Pitched three scoreless. Actually, pardon, he did not have 3 scoreless innings, but no earned runs. Here comes the ball back to the plate. Himes can't get there. Throw to the plate, not in time. Ball gets away from Teramagra, and the runner scores. 2-0 Chargers. And that is how you get the game started. There's alertness on third base there. And now Greg Himes is going to go out to the mound. He's going to talk to Chase Teramagra. It's going to be a wild pitch against him there as that ball just got away. The backstop isn't all that deep here. I mean, it's not. It's right around the middle of the road, I'd say. But Himes is going to talk to Teramagra here as we've got Giacchetto on third and already 2 runs across in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, this is the best start Timber Creek could ask for. The energy in that dugout and the momentum already shifting to their side in the early going.
So Giacchetto gets the third as Heddenberg, the batter. He's got a 2-1 count. Heddenberg on the hill, we'll see him in the bottom of the first inning, but he had 38 innings last year with a 2.76 ERA, career 3.34 mark. But Taramagra not having his best start that he would have wanted. This is his first appearance of the year, as we said, only had 2 1/3 innings as a freshman last year. Overbrook had a decent senior class. So we'll see how it works out for them this afternoon. 2-1. Ground ball, Heddenberg. There's your first hit. Fair, right field line, left field line. Heddenberg with the RBI single, and it's 3-0. So we were talking about Anthony Heddenberg needed his first varsity hit in his 13th at bat, and there it is right there. Laced it down the left field line, just got over the bag. Ump called it fair at home plate, and that will make it a 3-0 game. 3 straight hits for the Chargers. Should be noted, Frank Pagano is the home plate umpire today. Hunter Brelsford is our base umpire. Thanks to John Galante of Tri-State Elite for helping us out with that information. Throughout the season, if we're at a TSC umpiring game, we'll have him send us the assignments of who is going to be where. But we appreciate it, as we're always looking to support our umpires, including, well, yourself, David. Although you're part of a much smaller organization.
That is correct. John Galante's just done a fabulous job over there at TSC.
That one's upstairs. To Preston Williams. That one's up. What's Overbrook got to do here to get out of the inning? Because Timber Creek is, I don't see a path where they're just getting stopped right now.
Yeah, I think you got to slow the pace down. You got to take a breath. Everybody in the field, just take it one pitch at a time and try to get some outs. You haven't even hit yet. You have plenty of time to get back in this game.
Well, I think that was the goal of the mound visit for Greg Himes, as he gets a swing and a miss. Williams late on the fastball. I think one thing that he tried to do was to slow the game down a little bit, get that mound visit, put some confidence back in Taramagra's system. But then Heddenberg comes right back into it in the middle of the at-bat, gets the base hit down the left field line, and it feels like we're back to square one again. Throw back to first, not in time. Tyler Wood over there at first base for Timber Creek. As you said, David, they'll be going down to Myrtle Beach after this game. Maybe not immediately, but their first game is Wednesday versus Otsego of Ohio. This one's popped up. Oh, they're trying a hidden ball trick. They're going to get the runner to go back, and that'll be caught by Wood. You saw the shortstop try to deke him out that time by faking to field the ball on the ground. Timber Creek found a way to get around that, though, and Heddenberg stays at first. I think he initially was deked by it because he was halfway up the line from first to second, and then he immediately realized his mistake, and he turned around. So Williams pops out to the first baseman, and that's going to bring up Anthony Appalucci with 2 outs.
Yeah, I really like that idea from Berger there. You got to make sure that you can't fake a tag, because then that you can't fake that. It's just giving a base.
That ball's out to center field, going in, and making the catch will be McNally to retire the side. But how about that for Timber Creek? 7 batters, 3 runs across, and a streak of 3 hits in a row from Dabrowski, Giacchetto, and Heddenberg. Heddenberg will take the hill, number 99 on the mound for the Chargers. He'll look to put a charge into the Timber Creek defense. We'll be right back. Anthony Hedenberg, the pitcher for Timber Creek. As a sophomore last season, he had 3 innings this year versus Washington Township on opening day. With 38 innings, 8 walks, 20 Ks, 41 hits allowed, and a 2.76 ERA with a very respectable 1.28 whip. I really like how this kid pitches. He's got a lot of break on his breaking balls, and he's pretty underrated overall. Just carries a lot of velocity with him, and I think he's really able to command the zone very well, especially with only 8 walks in 38 innings. That is a fantastic walk-to-innings rate, so we'll see how he works today. Now with a 3-0 lead, Hedenberg couldn't have asked of anything more from his offense, as we'll take a look at the from the Overbrook lineup here this morning. It's only 11:10, so Chase Teramagra is your leadoff man, the pitcher, and Cooper Himes is the catcher batting second. In the 3 slot, Connor McNally, the center fielder. Tyler Berger, younger brother of Eric Berger, the Overbrook grad who's now at Camden County College, he bats cleanup. Cameron Daly is the shortstop. Seth Clement at third, Tyler Wood at first, Gabe Santamaria in right field, and Jim Green in left. Teramagra, first pitch strike from Hedenberg.
I think the goal for Overbrook in this bottom of the first inning is just try to chip away. It's 3-0, and you haven't even gotten that bat yet.
Well, I mean, Timber Creek didn't get those 3 runs off of big swings. There were no home runs in the first. It was just fundamental hitting. You had the walk from Keene, the base hit by Dobrowski to left field, and then Giacchetto, as this ball's hit out towards left center, he tripped out of the box, and that ball is caught. A near collision in left field, but Appalucci, or rather Williams, comes down with it, and that's the first out. And Greg Himes giving Teramagra some words of encouragement there. That's what a great coach does, because, listen, he understands that ball not dropping was not his fault. He did exactly what he needed to do. He attacked early in the at-bat, laced it to left center field. It got good contact on it, but it ends up just being a lucky catch by Preston Williams in left. Can't be mad at that if you're Greg Himes, and he handled that very well. There's Cooper Himes. Swings and misses on the first pitch, 0-1. Himes, the catcher in today's contest, senior. Batted .400 for the Rams last year, 30 for 75, 1 homer, 11 walks, and 12 stolen bases. Chopped to third. Nice pick. Throw to first. In time. Man, I'm really liking how this Timber Creek team is looking in the first inning. They are looking sound on offense. They're looking sound on defense. 2 great plays for 2 batters. And McNally will be the batter here with 2 away in the first.
Yeah, just doing all the fundamental things right in the early going.
Outside to McNally on the first pitch. But here on Good Friday, 57 degrees here in Overbrook with 50 degrees when we got here, and it'll warm up to 68 by the time we're done at 2 p.m. today. It's going to be really weird. It's going to be a high of 75, but we're not going to reach the high until around 5 or 6 o'clock. And Saturday and Sunday might have some rain for your Easter weekend, but Saturday's looking like it could get up to 80 degrees, so could have some warm showers coming our way when we're in Atlantic City tomorrow for the Sports Farm Youth Football Showcase. That one's away, 2-1. And DWB will return to spring break action with BCSL play on Monday the 6th. 10 a.m. first pitch between Cinnaminson and Doan Academy from underneath the Burlington-Bristol Bridge. That one's lined out towards center field. That'll drop for a base hit. Nice little piece of hitting there from McNally with 2 outs after 2 unlucky circumstances against the Rams. He finally gets one to fall right in between second and center, and that sets up Tyler Berger. Again, when we cover games like this, these are 2 talented teams when it comes to fundamental baseball. You know, when we covered Kingsway and Gloucester Catholic on Wednesday, the focus of the game was the power. You know, who was going to hit a homer in that game? Who was going to, swing for the fences? But in this, it's all about making the right plays at the right time, just like this. He got him. Giacchetto makes the play at first, and Anthony Hedenberg with a nearly fully clean first inning. Just 1 single separates it. But Timber Creek off to a hot start here this Good Friday. It's 3-0 after 1. New pitcher for Overbrook after one frame. Chase Teramagra is out, and we have a lot of changes. Cameron Daly is the new pitcher. He comes in, well, first of all, he's the number 5 hitter, so he's actually going to lead off the bottom of the second, but he moves from shortstop to the mound. Cooper Himes moved from the catcher to shortstop, and then Connor McNally moves from center field to shortstop, and Teramagra moved from the pitcher spot to center field. So if you can digest all of those musical chairs, we've got a whole new defensive lineup for Overbrook, and I don't blame them. They want to win this game, and I think that Greg Himes realized that he didn't want to leave Chase Teramagra out there too long, especially if Timber Creek was going to keep hitting against him. So put in some damage control, put in somebody who can eat some innings, and that's what Cameron Daly is going to be tasked to do here. He only has 1 inning total, and that was yesterday. He threw 13 pitches versus Deptford in the 15-3 win. So he's eligible to pitch back-to-back days. You have to pitch under 20, 20 or under, rather, to pitch in back-to-back days. And this is Overbrook's 3rd game in 3 days. So they're definitely grasping for straws to try to find their best pitching talent. Like we said, they walked off Glassboro 7-6 on Wednesday, and then they beat Deptford 15-3 yesterday on the road at Deptford. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chudzinski the batter for Timber Creek. Curtin will be the batter after him, the 3rd baseman. Fouled straight back.
There's a fence there.
You know, not to be cross, but I think I'm aware of that. It actually, we'll have to get a towel out because the foul ball shook some water off of the fence and then got on our laptop. As there's a swing and a miss. Nice curveball there from Daly. Picks up the strikeout, and there's one away for Curtin now. Yeah, I'll get a towel at the end of the inning or a napkin or something. As we mentioned, though, Timber Creek going down to Myrtle Beach. They'll play 2 schools from Ohio, Otsego on Wednesday and South Range on Thursday. And then on Friday, they'll play Lincoln County of Kentucky for 3 games, and then they'll return to their first Tri-County Liberty action with Triton. Now, the Tri-County Liberty is doing the same thing that the Cape Atlantic League is doing, and they're introducing back-to-back divisional games. The Cape Atlantic League has done it for a while for baseball, but this is the first time we're seeing it in any Tri-County action. Popped up to first. Wood has it, and there's 2 away. So basically how that works is that you play your divisional opponents in the way that they're doing it on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So Timber Creek will play Triton on Tuesday the 14th and Wednesday the 15th. They'll play Cumberland on Tuesday the 21st and Wednesday the 22nd. Deptford on the 28th and 29th, so on and so forth. So if I'm correct, as here's a fly ball to center, we might talk about this when we come back. Going under it is Teramagra, and the inning is over. What a rebound for Overbrook. After giving up 3 runs in the first, they make a personnel change on the hill, and a 1-2-3 second inning follows. We're through a frame and a half. It's Timber Creek 3, Overbrook 0. Through a frame and a half, it's Timber Creek 3, Overbrook 0. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on their first attempt. Book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, 614 Lambs Road, just minutes from Route 55. Heddenberg, first pitch, outside. David, you were making a good point. This is kind of like a getaway day for Timber Creek.
Yeah, Major League Baseball, you see it a lot where the last game of a series is like a 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock start, and then the team flies out. Obviously, I don't think Timber Creek is taking a plane to Myrtle Beach, but
That's a good 9-10 hour drive in Sprinter vans. I mean, I wouldn't volunteer to take that trip in a Sprinter van, but I'll gladly take my Ford Escape down there. A little bit more comfortable than a Sprinter van with 10 or 11 other people. 1 ball, 2 strikes from Heddenberg. Popped up, foul over our heads. So Daly leads us off in the bottom of the second inning, and then it will be Clement and Wood, so 5, 6, and 7. 1 base hit for Overbrook in the first, and there's a swing and a miss. Heddenberg with the strikeout. There's 1 away. So the batter will be Seth Clement, shortstop. Just got to feel like Overbrook's got to put bat to ball here. It's really the only way you can get a rally started. That one's fouled back again. When I meant bat to ball, oh my goodness, that was a long foul ball. Cleared the tennis courts and everything down there. We do have to be a little bit alert of the fact that the JV field is behind us. So if a ball rolls out towards the gap, there's no fence there. So
if somebody hits a ball all the way out here,
then they should be playing on varsity. No, you're right. This field is a little bit interesting in the fact that center field is slightly moved in because of the track of the football field. Strike 3. Back-to-back Ks. And Miles Taylor, he is fired up. I'm loving this energy. First year head coach, graduate of the school, very familiar with the program and the ins and outs of the program. And I mean, this is energy from a head coach that you will not see in many other places. There's a line drive by Wood. That goes into right field for a base hit. And it gets bobbled by the right fielder, but it'll be taken in. And Tyler Wood with a 2-out base hit. It's exactly how it was in the bottom of the first. 2 quick outs, and then a base hit. And now they'll face the number 8 hitter, Santa Maria. You were talking about getaway days. That's exactly what the Phillies did yesterday. Had a 1:30 start versus the Nationals, and now they'll be playing in Colorado Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. One of the 8 ballparks I've still not been to, but it's inside. They tell you pack a lot of water for your trips to Colorado because of the higher elevation.
Yep.
One ball, no strikes to Santa Maria, the right fielder. Jim Green, if the inning were to continue, will bat 9th after Santa Maria. Heddenberg from the stretch. This ball's popped out towards center field. Going in, and that ball will be brought down to retire the side. So another clean frame for Heddenberg, exactly how the first inning went. 2 outs, base hit, and a 3rd out to swiftly end the frame. Heddenberg's rolling. We go to the top of the 3rd. Timber Creek 3, Overbrook 0. Top of the third inning, Colin Keene is the batter versus Cameron Daly. Keene started the rally in the top of the first with a walk, a 4-pitch walk, and his runner came around to score. Pop up to second, it's caught. And there's one away. So 1 pitch, 1 out. In the top of the third is now Ryan Dobrowski will be the batter, the left fielder.
Timber Creek number 2, Ryan Dabrowski.
Dabrowski, one of those players that we highlighted as a part of our underclassmen showcase that we had on our social media last season. Hit .293 last year, 14 RBIs as there's a ground ball, backhanded at third. Throw across is stretched, not in time. That ball barely skipped away from Wood, and that's going to be a fielding error on the first baseman. I don't even think that was a bad throw from third. I just think that the throw came in a tiny bit late, and he couldn't reel it in on the scoop. So Dabrowski will reach. And now Devin Giacchetto, who had the first RBI of the game, an RBI double in the top of the first after a quick meeting with his third base coach. But yeah, you got to imagine Timber Creek will take the weekend off, maybe have a practice tomorrow and then take Sunday off, and then they'd probably drive down to Myrtle Beach on Monday, if I had to guess. Because if your first game's on Wednesday, you use Monday as a travel day, and then Tuesday's like a team bonding kind of thing. Have an extra day, practice a little bit.
Yeah, get acclimated.
Acclimated to the beautiful South Carolina weather. I've never stayed in South Carolina, only passed through briefly. As a throw down to second. This one's good, but it's going to go into center field. And now Dabrowski's going to run to third. The ball's going to stop in front of Teramagra, and that will be 2 bases. So that's going to be back-to-back plays with an error. As Dabrowski's going to reach on the throwing error by the catcher. So Giacchetto's going to have a 2-0 count. The only connection I have to South Carolina is that my dad lived in South Carolina for a year before he came up to Jersey after he graduated from college. Takes a strike, 2-1.
Miles Taylor just said something a couple seconds ago that I really like. Play team baseball here, just productive out at the least.
That ball's hit well out towards center field. Going back is Teramagra. He will make the catch just in front of the wall. Coming in to score will be Dobrowski, and there's some more offense for the Chargers as ordered. It's 4-0 in the top of the third inning as Hedenberg will now bat with the bases empty and 2 away. He's going to try to help his own cause here, but a sac fly, that exactly fits the bill of team baseball. And that's exactly what you said, productive out. That's all that Creek asked for, and that's what they received. Here's Hedenberg. That one's just at the letters, 1-0. Hedenberg had his first career varsity hit in his last at-bat, an RBI single. Was left on first. 1-0. Breaking ball. That one's at the letters.
Not sure if our camera is picking it up, but the catcher has a string in his back pocket. That's a pitch comm that you can now use in high school. The coach that is operating it must stay in the dugout at all times with it. It's only the second team I've seen them in Overbrook and Eastern have it.
Yeah, there's what you're looking at right there. And then if you look towards his neck, you can see the pitch comm apparatus. That's a good spot, David, as that'll be a strike called. Now, the thing is that I thought for PitchCom that usually a pitcher operates it, but I guess in this case a coach is calling the pitches. There's a strike called. I have said before that I am not a fan of coaches calling pitches at any level that's above, Little League, because really, we talk about Major League Baseball a lot, the relationship between a pitcher and a catcher. As this one's down the left field line, it's going to barely go out of play from Hedenberg. The count is 3-2, but the Miami Marlins are starting to do that now, where even in the minor leagues, they are having their coaches call the pitches, which that kind of eliminates the relationship between a pitcher and a catcher, and sometimes a good relationship between a pitcher and catcher where the catcher knows what the pitcher is working with and how the pitcher is working. Strike 3 called. That'll end the inning. But Overbrook gets out of it with 1 run allowed on a sacrifice fly. We go to the bottom of the third. Still rolling here in Pine Hill. 4-0 Timber Creek. Back from Overbrook, how about this? Manually operated scoreboard. Talk about old school. 3 runs from the top of the first. They're sliding that number over. They're helping one of the kids get the 1 over for Timber Creek. See, for the kid, they could use it as a math lesson, talking about carrying the 1. But 1 run for Timber Creek in the top of the first, sacrifice fly. Jim Green will be the batter, number 9 in the order. 9, 1, and 2 for the Rams in the bottom of the third. As there's a swing and a miss, Heddenberg gets him late on the fastball, and it's 0-1. One thing we were talking about during the break, talking about the pitch comm, was that the pitcher isn't wearing anything. And first of all, I think if I'm correct, it looks like Keene is wearing something as well. I see that wire coming out of the back. So both of these teams are using PitchCom today. But the pitcher, I don't think, is wearing anything. That one's fouled back, and that got stuck in the fence. Well, I guess it's better than going through the fence, but it'll be 0-2 here. And it showered our electronics again. As the 0-2 to Green. Breaking ball upstairs. Green with a little bit of a smaller frame might get an edge on the strike zone here. But Teramagra and Himes will bat after him. Timber Creek leading 4-0, trying to disrupt Overbrook's winning streak. As there's a swing and a miss, he got him. Chases it upstairs. That's 3 Ks for Heddenberg. And there's 1 away. Teramagra flew out to left in his last at bat to lead off offensive attack for Overbrook. 1 out, bottom of the third. Heddenberg to Teramagra, the 2 starters in the game. Teramagra only went the first inning. Maybe he was planned to be an opener, but they had Cameron Daly come in after him after allowing 3 runs on 3 hits in the first. Strike called outside corner, 1-1. Heddenberg, 1-1. Fouled back over our heads. 1-2.
Miles Taylor's voice is going to be gone at the end of this game.
Listen, I have rarely seen a head coach have this much passion as Miles Taylor. It's incredible. Ground ball, past the mound, out to short. Takes it on a stride, and he got him. Great play at short that time. That's out number 2. As it's picked up by McCullough. And a 6-3 ground out is the second out of the inning. I mean, Heddenberg's just working so quickly. how does Overbrook get ahead here? I mean, they just have to chip away, but Timber Creek is like shutting every door as soon as it opens.
And Heddenberg, he's throwing strikes. It's not like you're working deep counts. I think that's what Overbrook's got to try to do here, work deep counts and just get some runners on base.
Yeah, the only egregious chase that I saw in this inning was strike 3 to Green. He chased that one above the letters. But Overbrook seems to be patient, but we've only had 1 or 2 full counts this entire game on both sides. Both of these teams have stressed hitting the ball early and not really getting into deep counts. Outside, 2-1. Yeah, I don't want to know how much I don't want to know how much tea and honey Taylor's going to be drinking by the end of the game. They'll have them at the Buc-ee's in South Carolina. There's like the tea bags, and then you get a pack of honey. Speaking of deep counts, here's the 3-1, and that'll be ball 4. So Cooper Himes will get a free pass with 2 away in the third. It's Heddenberg's first walk and only his third base runner. And it'll bring up McNally, the center fielder, or excuse me, now the catcher. Started the game in center field, but moved behind the plate after the flurry of defensive substitutions in the first inning. So 2 outs, runner on after a 5-pitch walk to Cooper Himes. Now playing shortstop for the Rams as this one is low. Yeah, Heddenberg's just kept great command all day. And again, this guy's a junior, got another year to work with Timber Creek. Has a couple of older brothers who's worked through the system with the Chargers. And they've done a fantastic job as he works from the stretch. And now Taylor's going to go out. He's keeping a very quick leash here on Heddenberg. He had the 1 walk and now gets into a 2-0 count, and Taylor immediately sensing something here, so he's going to go out and talk to him. Again, Taylor was a Division I pitcher. He graduated from Timber Creek in 2011, went to Coppin State, which I believe is in Maryland. And he told us that one time he threw a no-hitter but lost the game because his defense let him down. It was versus Lehigh. But that's the one thing that makes coaches different is that, you know, we give let's talk about Ryan Kulik as an example, head coach at Rutgers Camden. He was a professional pitcher. He keeps his bullpen very much active, and he knows how to manage a bullpen very well because he was a former pro. Miles Taylor, you know, maybe a different extent, but that same philosophy still applies where a head coach who was a former player is going to excel in the specialty that they were once a part of. So if you're a Division I pitcher, former one in Miles Taylor, you're probably going to have better luck at managing a bullpen. 2 balls, 1 strike to McNally. McNally had the first of 2 hits off of Heddenberg in the first inning. Wood was the other one to send him the other way in the second. That one's low. But yeah, this feels like a drastic shift here. Heddenberg was working super quickly and was getting maybe 70-80% strikes, and now he's got a walk to Himes and a 3-1 count, and now a strike called to McNally outside corner. 1 strike away from getting out of it and keeping this game a shutout. This one's hit well out towards right field, down the line. Williams going over, and he dropped the ball. It popped out of his glove. Now going to second, shortstop wasn't covering the bag, and the run comes home. Cooper Himes comes in to score as a very weird play, but it might go down as an error on the right fielder. Himes will come around, and it's going to make it 4-1.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Preston Williams. He was shifted over to right center field and had to make a long run and almost had a snow cone, and then it just dropped out. But good spot there for the baseball for the Rams, and they're on the board.
Yeah, I might have to check with the home book to see how that was scored because, I mean, if you ask me, I don't think it was an ordinary effort play for Williams. If he was in his normal shift where he is in right field, I think that it would be an error. But because he's shifted over to his right and because he was shifted for the right-handed batter, he had to make an extra long run to get there. So I think that I would score that as I don't know, because the runner got the second after the throw, so maybe an RBI single. I don't know, but that's really difficult. Throw back to second and not in time. With McNally behind the plate, they have McLaughlin running at second. Greg Himes encouraging his batter. With Tyler Berger the batter. Oh, that hit him in the shoulder. So Overbrook showing some life here. 2-out rally, 3 straight base runners. And the batter will now be the pitcher, Cameron Daly, looking to help his own cause here in the bottom of the third. And Miles Taylor, you know, showing some grace here for Anthony Hedenberg. I mean, he's done very well so far. This is his first taste of adversity. We saw it on Wednesday with Gloucester Catholic and Kingsway. Jude Morgan was doing really well first couple of frames, and then you just have one inning where you don't have your best stuff. And even then, Hedenberg looked like he was headed for another very clean inning. He struck out Green on 4 pitches. He got Teramagra to ground out in just 3 pitches, and then he gives up that walk to Himes. And then the base hit to McNally. This one's fouled back first base side, headed towards the parking lot and onto the tennis courts. That's got to be difficult when they're playing a 4 o'clock game and there's a tennis match going on at the same time. It's like pinball when the second pinball gets dropped onto the course. No one's low.
Let's go waste pitch.
I'm seeing less and less pitchers really throw waste pitches anymore.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I think there's more that are just, you know, they're really trying to cut out the middleman. Umpire saying he's out of baseballs, so they will have to play with what they've got unless they can get some more. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Daly, the pitcher. He's got 2 runners on. It'll be 6, 7, and 8. Williams, Appalucci, and Chudzinski for the Chargers. There's a swing and a miss. What a way to get out of it for Anthony Hedenberg. He allows the 1 run, but nothing more as he picks up his 4th strikeout of the afternoon, and it couldn't have come at a better time. It'll be 1 run for Overbrook, though, and going to the top of the 4th, it's the Chargers 4 and the Rams 1. They're going to try to get this baseball off the fence, and they do. We'll be right back in just a moment. Preston Williams leads us off in the top of the 4th. His first pitch, ground ball to third, bobbled, trouble, no play. Just a simple bobble over at third by Seth Clement. And an error, the 3rd in the field today by Overbrook. We'll now put a leadoff runner on here in the top of the 4th. 2 of the errors that have occurred in this game happened in the 3rd. and they were both from Dobrowski. He reached on an error, a fielding error by Wood at first base, and then he reached third on a throwing error by the catcher McNally. So Williams reaches on the E5, and now this ball's popped. First base side, Wood gives it up over towards the corner, and it's foul. Just got down in front of Berger, but it's a foul ball out of play. Next week on DWB, on Monday, we'll kick off Easter break with BCSL baseball between Cinnaminson and Doan Academy at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then we'll see some Tri-County Diamond action between Woodstown and Glassboro at 4 p.m. from Glassboro's home field. On Tuesday, we'll be over to Pennsville to see the Rams again as they face off against the Pennsville Eagles at 4 o'clock. So a lot of small school Tri-County baseball next week. And then on Wednesday, we'll be at Cumberland for the Battle of Route 55. It's RCSJ Gloucester versus RCSJ Cumberland in Region 19 play. And then on Thursday morning, we'll have Colonial Conference baseball between Sterling and Haddon Township at 11 a.m. And then some NJAC Division III baseball, Rowan and Rutgers Camden at 3:30 on April the 9th. We'll see Jake Clark and Gavin Van Rel, one student from Rowan, one student from Rutgers Camden on the call for that one. And then another doubleheader on Friday the 10th. It'll be at 10 a.m. Maple Shade at Palmyra, and at 7 p.m. from Owens Park, Glassboro versus Williamstown. So we'll be seeing Glassboro twice in the same week as that ball gets away. Shoots over the head of Wood at first base. Charging down to second is Williams. He gets in there, and that'll be another throwing error against the Rams. That's now 4 in the game, and Timber Creek taking full advantage of it as they've got a runner in scoring position. That's the biggest thing Overbrook's got to fix here. I mean, I know that they got one run home in the bottom of the third, but they have to fix this defense. Especially, I mean, listen, they seem to be a little bit exasperated with the fact that they've played 2 games in 2 days. Glassboro obviously was a close game, but that only used 2 pitchers. Tyler Wood threw 6 innings, and Cooper Himes got the win with just 1 frame out of the pen. And they used 3 of their pitchers yesterday versus Deptford. That ball gets away. McNally has it. Throw to third. Not in time. Williams gets to third as aggressive base running strikes again for the Chargers.
Yeah, it's a good read by Williams. He saw that it was going to go in the dirt, and he just took off. Another productive out would work here for the Chargers.
Breaking ball, strike 3 called. That will be the 3rd strikeout for Daly. And there's 1 away for Jack Chudzinski. Strike 1. I'm liking Daly's confidence here. I mean, listen, the run that was scored in the 3rd inning was unearned to Daly, so he is sitting on no earned runs. Because Dabrowski reached on the error and the sacrifice fly.
And if this run came in, it would be unearned too, because Williams reached on an E5.
1-1. Fouled back. And of course, the practical sense of it is that the only person who cares about the unearned runs is us. Yep. Because in the real world, the run still counts, whether it's earned or unearned. And at the high school level, doesn't really matter what type of run it is because it's a run against you. Here's a ground ball to third. Clement has it. Throw to first is in time. Run does score on the ground out. And Chudzinski gets the run home, drives it in. And it is 5-1 Timber Creek. So they have now scored in every inning except the 2nd. 3 in the 1st, 1 in the 3rd, now 1 in the 4th. And it'll be the number 9 hitter, Curtin. But Overbrook used 3 pitchers yesterday versus Deptford. 2 1/3 from Anthony Nacera, 2 2/3 from Nacera, 2 1/3 from Luke Boyd, and 1 frame from Cameron Daly. Nacera got the win. Deptford used 5 pitchers in the loss The loss was charged to Manning Carr, who had 3 1/3, gave up 4 earned runs. That game went 6 innings. Overbrook scored 6 in the 6th to win it via mercy rule. Went foul back over towards the JV field. It's going to go right to the right fielder on the JV field. That's got to be difficult being the right fielder or center fielder on the JV team, because you've got to watch the game in front of you, but you also got to watch for balls being pelted behind you. Did he lean into it? That's exactly what they called there.
He said he hit the knob of his bat.
Oh, they're going to say it hit the knob of the bat. I thought they were charging it for leaning into the pitch.
I think it could have gone either way.
Yeah. I think it either would have been a foul ball for hitting the knob of his bat, because I thought that's what I heard. No, that's a great call there. 1 and 2. And I appreciate the umpire being very emphatic about it, making it very clear, not leaving anything to the imagination. Because that's the worst thing that a coach could ask for is not being clear. And that's exactly what the home plate umpire did. Is he was very clear. He said that's a foul ball.
Yeah, called it right away, too.
2-2. Low. So 3 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the 4th inning. Run home on the RBI ground out. Curtin, the number 9 batter, turns the lineup over to McCullough with a walk. So a 2-out walk by Daly. That is his first walk allowed. And McCullough will be the batter. Both of these teams, though, played yesterday. We mentioned Overbrook's win over Deptford. Took 5 innings for Timber Creek to beat CCTS. Not too far from Timber Creek in Sicklerville, 12-2. Both teams are, well, actually, Timber Creek's 1-1. CCTS already 2-2 under Barry Galasso.
Camden Tech is not too far from either of these schools. It's actually right on the other side of this road.
Yeah, you're right. CCTS jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the first as that ball's hit out towards left field. That's fair. Down the line. This is going to send Curtin around third. Green light all the way. RBI double McCullough. Suns helmet. He scores. 6-1. Timber Creek. Five-run lead, Timber Creek. RBI double from Tyler McCullough. And that is exactly what Timber Creek wanted right there. You had 2 outs. You already had a run home. Start something new. You work the count full with Curtin, get the walk, and then that was a beautiful hit down the left field line from McCullough. You couldn't have asked for anything better. Slicing down the line.
Just got it in the chalk line, and Timber Creek extends the lead.
That one runs in front of the catcher. Runner's going to go to third. He is safe at third. And now Greg Himes is going to slow this game down. How about Timber Creek? This is fantastic.
Yeah, they're doing everything right. Defense, offense, base running.
But this isn't a 6-1 lead where they're you ever have those games where a team's leading by 5 or 6 runs and you feel like the game's just deflated? No, this game feels like it's got all the energy in the world for 11 a.m. on a Friday, and these guys are just they're doing everything they can. They're getting fundamental hits. They're staying true on defense. They don't have any errors in the field, and the one run that they allowed was partially because of the shift in right field. So Timber Creek has just been firing on all cylinders. And David, we were talking about during the break their loss to Washington Township. That was, a little bit surprising. They lost 13-8. That was a high-scoring game, but Washington Township had 15 hits in that game, and they had 8 runs in the first 2 innings. That's hard to come back from. So Timber Creek setting the tone early, 3 runs in the first, and now they've added 2 more here in the top of the 4th. Daly steps off, so Himes visiting with him. We did see a right-hander warming up down the left field line. He's disappeared from view for us now as that's going to get past Wood. Scoring McCullough. RBI single Colin Keene, 7-1.
Now batting for Timber Creek, number 2, Ryan Dabrowski.
They will have another pinch runner at first. That's Bryson Monitzer. Running for Keene. Dabrowski, 1 for 2. RBI single, no, check that. Single and scored in the first. Reached on an error in the third. Oh, that one almost hit him. 1 ball, no strikes. Daly looking to stop the bleeding. That one's low. Overbrook in the bottom of the 4th will bat 6, 7, and 8. Clement, Wood, and Santa Maria. Two balls, no strikes to Dabrowski. Sometimes a catcher for Timber Creek today, manning left field. Got a piece of it. It's 2-1. If the inning continues, Giacchetto will be on deck, and he's been a workhorse for this Timber Creek team as well. RBI double in the first and a sac fly in the third. But a 3 spot for Timber Creek. They lead this ball game 7-1. Fouled back, look out. That hit the pole and bounced right back onto the field. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And again, when you're a team down by 6 runs and you don't have the middle of your order leading off, it even more emphasizes the notion that you have to just chip away. 1 swing at a time, or even not swinging. Drawing walks. A walk is pretty directly how they got their first run in the bottom of the 3rd. That ball's hit down the left field line. This is going to go foul. That looked good off the bat, but it just trailed a little bit. Not a lot of wind at all today here at Overbrook. Very light gusts out towards left field, but as we said, it is warming up here as we reach the noon hour. 61 degrees here in Pine Hill. And as we said, it's going to warm up to 75 by the time dinner time comes around. But not a lot of teams playing today, with today being Good Friday. Only the other games that I know of in South Jersey today are, I think one is Rancocas Valley and Eastern. ACIT is playing GCIT. And Holy Cross Prep is playing Bordentown. But going to be a pretty light weekend going into Easter Sunday. And then we'll be firing on all cylinders for Easter break. April 6th through the 10th. That ball's laced. It's over the head of Himes in the left center field. Hits keep on coming. It's going to stop in the grass. Green light from the third base coach. The throw comes into the third baseman, and there's an RBI double. 8-1. Four-run 4th.
Now batting for Timber Creek, number 30.
Gotta wonder if that's going to be the end of the line for Cameron Daly, as Dabrowski picks up the RBI. Okay, so the same right-hander that we saw warming up earlier is back warming up again. That's number 10, Joshua Weaver. That's something we've heard a lot from Miles Taylor. Don't get greedy. That more or less means just don't run yourself into an out. Don't cause an out that's going to be your fault, as in, you know, Dabrowski trying to steal third and, again, getting greedy. That's exactly what they're going for there. But they now lead this game 8-1 outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stepping off. 1-1. And he'll step off again. You can feel Timber Creek's just putting the pressure on. I mean, he steps off twice. I think it's pretty clear he's influenced by that runner on second base. That's low. But again, all of this chirping you're hearing from the Timber Creek dugout, it's all towards their own team. They're not causing trouble. They're just supporting their guys, and they're being loud, and they're being known. That's the exact kind of baseball that you want to see. And they have obviously been rewarded with the fruits of their labor with a 4-run fourth inning. Giacchetto fouls it back, and it's 2-2. Again, Seth Clement will lead us off for Overbrook in the bottom of the fourth inning, followed by the seventh man, Tyler Wood. But it was 4-1 going into the inning, and now Timber Creek has blown this game open to make it 8-1. Runner goes, he gets jammed. This one's going to roll to short. He might have an infield hit. He will not, or he will. Wow, that ball just literally stopped in the grass. And Giacchetto is going to have the infield single.
Now batting.
This is going to be batter number 9 of the inning, and it's going to be Heddenberg.
Yeah, nothing Himes could do there. Just it was a slow roller to begin with, and then it just completely stopped.
Some tall grass out there. That's your home field, too. But again, these players practice on this field. They know what it's like. They know what the situation is, and I think Himes was maybe expecting that ball to roll to him more, because when that ball gets hit to you, you are expecting it to roll. But like Giacchetto's out if we're playing at Rutgers Camden, for example, because that ball would just keep rolling and rolling and rolling until the sun goes down. But that turf also has a lot less friction. The grass here is pretty tall, and we had overnight rain Wednesday into Thursday, and actually really it rained most of the day Thursday. So this field was pretty, the dirt was pretty thick and clumpy when we got here. Pretty consistent with the fact that it had rained, as that one's going to go towards the Overbrook dugout. It's 2-1. But if you're Overbrook, what's your strategy here going into the bottom of the fourth?
Get back to what you were doing with 2 outs last inning and get some base runners throughout the inning and try to chip away. There's not much you can do. You're not going to hit a 7-run home run, and you got to control this game before you get into that 10-run rule range.
2 balls, 1 strike. Daly steps off.
That's a good move. First to third, the first fake.
Yeah, no, David, you're exactly right. And that's the one thing that I think could be a negative for Timber Creek, as crazy as it sounds, as there's a strike called. I'm curious if Heddenberg being off the mound for so long with this 4-run inning could disrupt his rhythm a little bit, because this game's been going lightning quick. I mean, it's 12:05, and we're in the top of the fourth inning. Not often does it take 45 minutes to do 3 innings. That's pretty quick. So with this pace of play being brought to a pretty grinding halt, Heddenberg being off the mound for a while, not getting loose, not getting, warmed up, that could it won't spell disaster for him, but it may give Overbrook a little bit of a push to try to get ahead here.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody warm up for Timber Creek.
I think they're still pretty confident in their right-hander. Full count. Daly with runners on the corners. Chases high, and it's rewarded with a base hit to left. The hits keep on coming. It's a 5-run inning, and Anthony Heddenberg with his first 2 varsity base hits after being 0 for 6 to start the year, and it's 9-1, and Daly is going to get subbed out of the game. Greg Himes will come out. He will make the substitution, and it will be the right-hander number 10 in Ventura. Or pardon.
Himes is going to go on the mound, it looks.
No, yeah, they're gonna make that switch. We saw the one guy coming out to warm up in Joshua Weaver, and they're going to make a switch here. Cooper Himes will take the mound. So Cooper Himes has done a little bit of everything today. He caught the first inning, he moved to shortstop, and in small school baseball, he's going to be on the hill here in the top of the fourth inning. 8-run lead for the Chargers with 2 runners on when we return. Cooper Himes, the new pitcher. This is now his 3rd position on the field today. He pitched 1 inning versus Glassboro, as that's going to be to center field, and that's going to drop for a base hit from Williams. Here comes Giacchetto. He's going to come around. The throw to the plate is in time. And if there's one way to end the inning that could have given Overbrook some momentum, that's exactly it. As the runner gets thrown out from center, Giacchetto got a little bit of a late start, but there's no doubting it. Timber Creek is here to stay. 5-run 4th inning, 10 batters across, and the throw out at home ends it. Greg Himes will rally his guys, and we'll see what their offense has to do against Anthony Hedenberg. Going to the bottom half, it's Timber Creek 9, Overbrook 1.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Seth Clement leads us off after a wonderfully executed top of the 4th inning for Timber Creek, as Hedenberg on the hill. Clement will be the batter. 6, 7, and 8. Clement, Wood, and Santa Maria. It's time for DWB Trivia Time. The way that this works is that we'll talk about the question in the bottom of the 4th inning, and with 2 outs in the inning, as there's a ground ball out to short, picked up by McCullough. The throw is in time. Giacchetto with the stretch. There's one away. So we'll have to move through this pretty quickly. With 2 outs, we'll reveal the answer. Put your answer in the comments of this YouTube video, and if you are correct, we'll add you to a leaderboard. Most points at the end of the season wins a DWB merch package. Today's question is, what is the only Major League Baseball division to have all 5 ballparks built after the year 2000? Is it A, the National League Central, B, the AL West, C, the NL West, or D, the AL East? We'll reveal the answer with 2 outs in the inning. There's already 1 out as Wood takes that one away. But a 5-run inning for Timber Creek after putting up 3 in the first. It should not be forgotten, though, that that 5-run rally was sparked with 2 outs because Williams reached on the E5. He stole second, stole third. Chudzinski got him home on an RBI ground out. That was the second out of the inning. And then walk, RBI double, RBI single, another RBI double, another single, another RBI, and then Williams with that final hit that was threw out Giacchetto at home. So that is a grand total of 6 batters in a row, all with base hits, for a total of for 6 hits in the inning, all with 2 outs. That's fundamental baseball, and that's winning baseball. 2-2. Strike 3 called. The man they call Ant-Man. Strikeout number 5. And there's 2 away now for Santa Maria.
Now batting for the Rams.
All right, David, we've got trivia time. You're going to be tasked with guessing the answer today. So today's question is, what is the only Major League Baseball division to have all 5 ballparks built after the year 2000? The options are the NL Central, the AL West, NL East, or D, NL East. David, what's your guess?
I'm going to go NL East.
You'd be correct. It is C, the NL East. Truist Park in Atlanta was built in 2017. Lone Depot Park in Miami was built in 2012. Citi Field in 2009, Nationals Park in 2008, and Citizens Bank Park, actually the oldest of them all, built in 2004, replacing the old Veterans Stadium. No balls, 2 strikes. This would be a huge shutdown for Timber Creek to have a 1-2-3 4th inning, and they do. Half dozen for Heddenberg. The Ant-Man amplified as he sprints into the dugout. Man, what are they feeding these kids? They're on a roll. Through 4, Timber Creek 9, Overbrook 1.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well. The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside. It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need. And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives. If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
Cooper Himes looking to finish what he started. He came on in the top of the 4th inning with 2 outs after a 5 spot. And even though he gave up a hit, he was able to stop the bleeding for the most part as Appalucci, the batter. He's 0 for 2, fly out to center and a strikeout. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by David Cohen here from Overbrook High School in Pine Hill, New Jersey. If you'd like to make a contribution to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we do have a Venmo at DW Broadcasting. No spaces, no hyphens. For a lot of the baseball content we produce, we are not paid. We just do this for the love of the game and also for advancing our careers in sports broadcasting. David's a member of Rowan University's Sports Communications and Media program, and I'm a sophomore at Rowan College of South Jersey studying radio, TV, and film. So if you'd like to help us out, you can send us anything you'd like at DW Broadcasting on Venmo. No spaces, no hyphens, and we hope to see both of these teams succeed in the near future on DWB. We'll see Timber Creek a handful more times throughout the year versus Shalleck on May the 2nd and versus Cumberland on April the 21st. As there's a strike called. And then I believe Timber Creek also has our last regular season game of the year on May 23rd versus Holy Spirit. Of course, all games, though, are subject to change. That one's right back to the hill. One hop, throws it down to first base, chases the runner out at first. And this cannot be overstated enough how much of a shutdown inning needs to happen here. Overbrook did not get the bats going in the bottom of the fourth, so down by 8 runs, you're in the 5th inning now. If Timber Creek gets 2 runs home, you could be looking at mercy rule territory. As much as that, kind of stinks to say, that's how it is. Although I should say that we haven't really had a low-scoring baseball game yet on DWB this year. Opening day was Northern Burlington over Maple Shade, 7-0. Then on Thursday, David, there's a fence there.
I knew you were going to get me back at some point.
Taste of your own medicine, but because I didn't move. But no, and then the next game we had, what was it after that? It was Maple Shade, Northern Burlington. Then it was. Was it Bordentown, Northern Burlington again? I felt like there was a game before that. But, it was Oakcrest Buna. That was 9-8. It's down the right field line, hit well over towards the corner, and foul. So Buna had that crazy walk-off win, 9-8. Then Northern Burlington mercy ruled Bordentown, 12-1. Then the next week, what do we have after that? I'm trying to think now. I don't know why I'm blanking on all of it, but that's right. Pennsauken beat Gloucester 14-1. And then Audubon fell to Clearview 11-1. So we had 3 straight games with mercy rules, and then we got broken up with Kingsway GC on Wednesday that was 10-6 Gloucester Catholic. It was a really fun game to watch. Ground ball, softly hit to second. Backhanded, throw to first. Is in time, and a nice play by Tyler Wood to keep his foot planted on the bag. 2 away. And again, with Danny Curtin batting now, you've got 7, 8, and 9 for Timber Creek. This is the shutdown that Cooper Himes needs, although, again, all 6 hits that Timber Creek had in the 4th inning were all with 2 outs. So you can't take any out for granted in this game, even if it's the 9-hitter, because Chudzinski sparked the rally with that RBI ground out. That was the 2nd out of the inning. And then everything else after that was the top of the order doing their thing, and it was a conga line, moving station to station. Everybody was doing their job. That one's away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Overbrook will bat 9, 1, and 2 in the bottom of the 5th, leading off with Green. Chopped foul. 1 and 2. Nice barehanded grab by the third base coach. See, when we're talking about defense, we're not just talking about the fielders. Talking about the gentlemen in the sweatshirts as well.
And if you missed it, it would have been an E10.
That one's low. 2 and 2. So first base coach will be E11.
Yeah.
Third base will be E10. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases empty. Himes looking to shut it down for Timber Creek. That ball's hit well out towards left field. It's going to be slicing in, and it pops out of the glove. That will drop in front of the left fielder. So Green couldn't handle that cleanly. I'm a little bit iffy on if I want to call that a hit or an error, because he did have to run in for that play. But he also didn't have to, he dove for it, so it's not ordinary effort. So I think I'd call that a base hit for Curtin. Inside. But this is exactly how the 4th inning started for Timber Creek. They had a relatively uneventful first 2 outs, and then you get to the top of the order and the hits just keep coming. That was the 10th hit of the game for Timber Creek. 3 hits in the first inning. They had none in the 2nd or 3rd under Cameron Daly. And then all 6 hits came across for 5 runs rather. Throw back to first, a slow throw, not in time. But we'll be seeing Overbrook on Tuesday again versus Pennsville over at Ed Rieger Field, and I'm going to be very curious pardon me, I'm going to be very curious how this team adapts, because you're going to have the weekend, you're going to have Easter weekend, probably practice on Saturday and Monday, take Sunday off. When they go to Pennsville on the road, I'm very curious how they're going to adapt for that, because they're going to have several days off. Low, runner started to go, back pick, not in time. Three balls, one strike. Three one. That one's lined into left field, a base hit. This is what we were talking about.
Yeah, the top of the lineup.
That top of the lineup is just incredible. And that was after McCullough started the game 0 for 2. He's now got 2 hits in his last 2 at-bats.
It's back-to-back innings now where the first 2 outs have come quick, and then the top of the lineup just continues to mash.
As we said in the 4th inning, Williams reached on an E5, and then those next 2 outs came in succession. A strikeout looking to Appalucci, and a RBI ground out by Chudzinski. Stepping off is Himes. Again, we'll be on the air tomorrow in Atlantic City at Dolphin Field for the Youth Sports Football Tournament, or showcase for Sports Farm. Our collaborating friends over at HSG Network will have the other half of the action from Atlantic City High School, and we'll have the second half of the action, if you will, around 15 minutes away from Dolphin Field in the Venice Park neighborhood of Atlantic City. The good thing about going to Atlantic City when you're 20 years old and in college is that you don't have enough money to throw it away. I got money for about a slice of pizza and a bottle of water. That's about it. Not enough to go to Tropicana. I mean, I can't even get into Tropicana because I don't turn 21 until November, but you get my point. Himes steps off again. Again, you can see that pressure's getting to him. And Overbrook's coaches in the dugout, they're encouraging him. They're saying, hey, let's go. Don't worry about those guys. The more you step off, the more it's going to encourage them. Time is called. So, again, another stoppage. This is where baseball turns into a chess match. The base runners are intimidating the pitcher. That one's low, and you see the result of that. That one missed in the dirt. 2 balls, 1 strike. Keene, an RBI single in the 4th, brought home the 2nd of 5 runs that inning. Now they'll throw back to second, and it's not in time. That was the closest one we saw yet. Daly came in there. Himes actually had the throw, and the runner dove back. But that's now the 3rd disengagement in the at-bat. There's a ground ball. Keene over to second. Throw to first is in time, and Wood picked it up to retire the side. So that is a good shutdown inning for the Rams, as they do get 2 runners on. But the most important part, they leave runs off the board, and Timber Creek leaves runs on the table. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still Creek 9, Overbrook 1. Bottom of the fifth inning, 9-1 Timber Creek. This broadcast is brought to you by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and nonstop entertainment throughout the Garden State. They have an event tomorrow at South Jersey Geek Fest in Gloucester Township as Green pops this one up. Over towards the first base side, Keene going over towards the dugout, and he makes the catch. Trailed that one, he overran it and then pedaled back. What a play by Colin Keene. That's the first out. As Green is retired, that sends us to the top of the order. But as we were saying, DAWG Pro Wrestling will have an event and a table at South Jersey Geek Fest tomorrow in Gloucester Township at the South Jersey, I believe it's the Gloucester Township Fairgrounds. So weather permitting, they'll be there. They'll have another event on May the 2nd at Pinelands Regional High School in Little Egg Harbor. Strike called. Got a southpaw warming up. So Tyler Berger is warming up for Overbrook.
And two guys, actually. Seth Clement, actually, too, is over there.
All right, so two infielders. This one's out towards right field. It's going to drop. I don't know if Williams didn't see it, but that'll be a base hit for Terramagra. I don't know if you saw it at the in between innings, but Miles Taylor actually went out and warmed up his pitcher Hedenberg while Keene got ready because Keene was the last out of the inning. I mean, sometimes they send an assistant out there, but the head coach coming out and catching for his guy, he's setting the standard. That ball's hit well out towards center field, going back. This ball is gone. Two-run home run. Cooper Himes out to the left center gap. And while it doesn't define anything, it'll get something started. Himes with his third career home run, his first of the year, and it's 9-3 in favor of the Chargers. A lot more home runs in South Jersey this year. I don't know what it was, but when I first started out in 2022, 2023, it felt like there weren't a lot of home runs being hit. It's something you would see, maybe every 2 or 3 games. Now, there's only one game that I've been to this year, which was Oak Crest and Buna, where there wasn't a home run hit. But the hitter-friendly center field portion of the Overbrook field rewards Cooper Himes that time with a 2-run shot off of Hedenberg. And I think that's what Miles Taylor was stressing when Williams let that ball go. He said, I don't care that it's 9-1. Go for it. Try to make that play. Put in your best effort, because that was the direct result right there. Himes, the very next at bat, took that fastball deep and took him deep to center field. But a home run's one of the best ways to get your confidence back up. Even if it's not a whole lot right now, it's 9-3. You never know. Green popped out to the catcher to open up the inning, and then 2 straight hits after that. Strike called to McNally.
It's part of that chipping away, as we've been mentioning, for the Rams, and it's a good start to that goal.
That one just cleared the center field fence as this one's out to right by McNally. Playing it is Williams. He'll be there. 2 down. But Overbrook will now just have 7 outs to their name and 6 after this inning. So do the best you can while you're at it. I'd like to see them get another run home here, pick up a 2-out rally, and get this dugout a little bit fired up as they try to hold the Chargers at bay in the 6th and 7th. But Hedenberg still just dealing. A little bit rare to see a first pitch breaking ball, too. Covered the outside half of the plate. Strike called. Again, for Overbrook, their next game is versus Pennsville on Tuesday. We will also be there for that at Ed Rieger Field. Ball's popped up. First base side, going over towards Giacchetto. Takes his hat off, and he makes the catch. Hard to see down the first base line, but that will retire the side as 2 runs come across on a 2-run shot by Cooper Himes. He had 1 2 years ago, he had 1 in his junior year, and he's got 1 in his senior year. 9-3 after 5. Seth Clement is the new pitcher for Overbrook. It's his first career varsity appearance. He's a junior. He's been with this Overbrook varsity program since he was a freshman and even recorded 30 at-bats last year. This is the first time we're seeing him on the mound. He's hitting .429 at the plate, though, and he moves from third base to the mound. We mentioned in the bottom half of the inning that Tyler Berger and Seth Clement were warming up, and the latter of the two ends up taking the hill. So we've got 9-3 ball game. Dabrowski leads us off. 3, 4, and 5, meat of the order. And a 6-run ball game for Timber Creek, top of the 6th inning. First pitch from Clement inside to Dabrowski, and it's 1-0. As we said, kind of a getaway day for Timber Creek as they leave for Myrtle Beach after the Easter weekend. They'll be facing two schools from Ohio and Lincoln County, Kentucky. Slow roller. This is going to be tough. Barehanded on the run. It's away. And now Dabrowski's going to turn. He's going to go to second as that ball gets away. And he's going to slide in the second without a throw. So that's going to be a throwing error on the third baseman, number 4, Tyler Berger, who moved from second to third. So that will be the third error that Dabrowski has taken advantage of in this game. And it's the 5th total error for Overbrook. Just kind of a weird situation there, but that's exactly what we saw earlier in the game. A slow roller in the infield. The grass is pretty tall here. It's not egregiously tall, but with the fact that it rained yesterday, and I think it rained a little bit overnight, as that's a fair ball. Giacchetto down the left field line. This is going to score Dabrowski. 10-3, Timber Creek. RBI single there from Giacchetto as he tags Clement. And with nobody out, that is the third RBI of the day for Devin Giacchetto. I mean, listen, when we talk about players of the game, Heddenberg obviously deserves it for his performance on the mound. 6 Ks. The 2-run homer in the 5th is a little bit of a blemish, but still, he is just such a workhorse, such a fired-up player. But then Devin Giacchetto, 3 RBIs here. He's done quite well. That one's low, hits the plate. And it's 1-0 to Heddenberg. He's 2 for 3, helping his own cause with 2 RBIs at the plate. And those were his first 2 varsity hits. He was 0 for 13 going into this game, including 0 for 6 this year. Did not have a lot of varsity at-bats, was mostly a pitcher only during his first 2 seasons under John Cates with Timber Creek. But Heddenberg now takes a strike, and it's 1-1. But I'm very excited to see this kid throughout the season because I think he's emerging as a star for Timber Creek. He is a workhorse. Darn good ball player. Plays the game the right way, too. You know, he's not overly flashy. He's just a working man, as that one's low. 2-1.
Calm, cool, and collected.
That's how you got to be. You know what? That's what college coaches like as well. You know, they obviously emotion is a part of the game, but they like a player who sticks to his own, doesn't try to put anybody down, tries to lift everybody up with him. I mean, Miles Taylor and Timber Creek have set a very clear standard of team baseball as Heddenberg rips one, but this is going to be foul. Had some hard distance to it, but he was a hair early, and it's 2-2. (10-3) Timber Creek. So this will be the 5th game in a row that DWB has covered where one team has scored 10 runs or more. A lot of high-scoring baseball we've covered so far this year. I'm waiting for a good 1-0 game or something. It's popped up third base side, and it's out of play. Two balls, 2 strikes to Heddenberg. Working the count quite well here versus the new pitcher Clement. As we mentioned, this is his first varsity appearance on the mound. Had 30 at-bats last year and is already hitting .429 in 7 at-bats as a junior. Started the game at third base. Inside. Breaking ball just a tad inside, and it's 3-2. But after Overbrook scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th, Timber Creek's already got one of them back on the RBI single by Devin Giacchetto. He stands on first. (3-2). Line foul. This is going to be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. There's a lot of foul balls here from Heddenberg. And even if he doesn't get a hit, he's still helping his own cause here by working up the pitch count of his opponent pretty directly. Three balls, 2 strikes to the junior pitcher and DH, Heddenberg. Got jammed. So we'll have pitch number 9 coming up. Underneath the backdrop of the Overbrook football field. Quite a unique, not entirely unique, but an interesting setup here. As we said, that center field fence, it's hard to tell when you're at ground level, but if you look at an aerial shot of the field, the center field fence is moved in about 10 to 15 feet because of the track surrounding center field. He got jammed on pitch number 9. They'll go for the fielder's choice. They'll try to throw for a double play. Heddenberg was slow down the line. Tried to beat that one out. He does, and he'll stay at first. So that'll be a 6-4 fielder's choice. They'll have a runner for Heddenberg.
Now batting for the Timber Creek, number 7, Preston Williams.
It's going to be number 21, who is not on our online roster. Got to see if he's on our paper roster. That's Cody Murphy. So Heddenberg, for the 3rd time today, reaches base as Giacchetto was retired. It's out number 1 of the inning as this ball's laced down the left field line, but foul.
It's like the 6th foul ball down that way that looks like so well hit, and then it just slices.
Well, I think these guys are a little bit early on contact. I think that's the one thing Timber Creek is going to have to work on is getting more squared up with the ball, because that's what they did well. But now I think that the confidence is so high on their team that they're just trying to get a little bit too far out in front of it and recreate what they've done earlier in the game. You just got to be consistent. That's really all they got to ask for. But that one, it's fair. Left field line. Here comes, they're going to have Murphy stop at second. He was going to go to third, but he'll hold up there. And that'll be a 1-out single for Anthony Williams, Preston Williams. And now it'll be Anthony Appalucci. That's hit number 12 for Timber Creek this afternoon. So runners on first and second, and Appalucci, one of just two batters for Timber Creek to not reach base today. He's 0 for 3, trying to break that 0 for. First pitch, foul. Again, getting a little bit early that time. Appalucci, the junior, this is just his 2nd varsity game, went 1 for 4 back on the 31st versus Washington Township. It's 0-1. Greg Himes coming out to talk to the home plate umpire. Making sure everybody's on the same page. Home plate umpire Frank Pagano and Hunter Brelsford on base, making sure that he had enough mound visits. This is his last mound visit of the game, they just said. So Himes will talk to them, but 2 runners on, 1 away. Top of the 6th inning, this is going to be tough here. It's 7-run lead. You don't want to exacerbate it any further, but you're also dealing with a pitcher who's really being thrown into the fire. I mean, this is his first varsity appearance. It's going to be difficult to judge how it's going to go because you have 1 out, and I don't know how Overbrook's going to handle this because here's the one thing. 1 swing can make this a 10-run game, 3-run home run. But 1 swing can also be a double play, and the inning could be over. That's the thing about two on and 1 out is that there's so many variables that can change the game depending on where that ball ends up on the bat. So we'll have to see how Clement handles it, but after the mound visit, he's got a 0-1 count to Anthony Appalucci. Number 7 hitter here for Timber Creek. Jack Chudzinski in the on-deck circle. Ground ball out to short. He'll tag the bag for 1. Where did he get anybody? Yes, he did. Okay. He held on to the baseball. Himes held on to it, didn't make a throw. He pump faked to first, then he pump faked to third. And I didn't see an immediate signal of whether the runner was out, but he was. And that's going to be a 6 unassisted fielder's choice for out number 2 in the top of the 6th inning. So Appalucci on first, Williams out on the fielder's choice, and Hedenberg's runner, Murphy, now on third. So runners on the corners for Chudzinski with 2 away in the top of the 6th. 1 run already home. 10-3 Timber Creek here in Tri-County non-division play. Group 3 versus Group 2. Just a hair outside. Been a pretty good zone from behind the plate as well.
Agreed. Yeah, both umpires have been.
It's been a tight zone, but it's been very consistent. Got to give a lot of props to that. From the home plate umpire, that one's fouled back. As we mentioned, Frank Pagano is behind the plate. Hunter Brelsford is our base umpire today. Big thanks to John Galante of TSC, Tri-State Elite Umpires. For any game that we cover that's at a TSC school, he's going to let us know who the umpires are so that we can give them the recognition. Same thing we do for soccer and basketball with the thanks of Jeff Villanuk down in Ocean City. As the 1-1 is upstairs. Again, I've said it on almost every game this year, is that the advent of ABS for Major League Baseball is only going to put the umpires at this level and at the college level under more scrutiny, because at the professional level, balls and strikes are being judged by literal millimeters and fractions of inches. So they're only going to get more scrutiny as it goes on. So, you know, you just got to judge off the eye test. You got to do the best you can, especially in a environment where officiating numbers in almost every sport are going down. 3 balls, 1 strike to the 8 hitter Chudzinski. Fouled straight back, 3-2. If the inning continues, Danny Curtin will be in the on-deck circle, or he will bat if the inning continues. But starting to brighten up here in Overbrook, some very, I would say, light clouds. It is overcast, but the sun is ever so slightly peeking through those clouds. That'll be ball 4, and the bases are loaded here for Curtin. That'll be the first time Chudzinski reached base, so now all 9 batters in the Timber Creek lineup have reached base. Appalucci had his first on the fielder's choice, and now Chudzinski has his first on the free pass. So Danny Curtin, the batter with the bases loaded, had a base hit in the 5th. Otherwise, he's 1 for 2. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Timber Creek holding a 7-run lead. It'll be Daly, Clement, and Wood, 5, 6, and 7 for the Overbrook Rams, led by Greg Himes. Strike called. Overbrook last year went 14-11 in a pretty tough Tri-County Diamond division. They went 4-3. Started off the year 3-0 before losing 4 straight games in mid-April. And then they won 3 straight to end the season, and they beat Gloucester at home in the first round of South Jersey Group 2. The final score was 5-1. Overbrook slotted up as the 7 seed. Lost a heartbreaker to Haddon Heights in the South Jersey Group 2 quarterfinals, 3-2.
Yeah, that was a walk-off.
I was just about to say, yeah, it's a heartbreaking way to end your season. Won 12 games in 2024 and only 9 in 2023. So they've been on the way up. Strike 3, outside corner. And Clement gets out of it with a strikeout. Timber Creek gets 1 run home on an RBI single by Devin Giacchetto. And after all the base runners to reach, a grand total of 6 base runners came around, but only 1 scored. 7-run lead for Timber Creek going to the bottom of the 6th. Hedenberg coming back out for a 6th inning, 10-3. Bottom of the 6th inning, Timber Creek leads 10-3. First pitch is a strike. Cameron Daly, who had a relief appearance of 2 2/3 innings, takes a quick strike 2. He's 0 for 2, 2 Ks. Chase Terramagra started the game through 1 inning, gave up the first 3 runs. Daly took over and had the next 2 2/3. That ball comes up. It bobbles off the chest of Hedenberg. Throw to first is in time. Able to get that one down. Tough play for Hedenberg. He just kind of fumbled with it and was able to make the close play at first to retire Daly. So with Daly coming out of the game, Cooper Himes took over for the next inning. And then now an inning and 1/3, or pardon, an inning and 1/3 from Himes. Now 1 inning from Seth Clement. Now here is Seth Clement, who swings and misses. Overbrook, though, with a 14-win season last year, was tied for their most wins since 2014 when they went 14-13. Won the first round of their South Jersey Group 2 matchup versus Middle Township at home, then got mercy ruled by Haddonfield in the second round, back when Chuck Marciano was the head coach. But also, Overbrook has only been a member of the Tri-County Conference since 2020 as a fly ball to right. Rather caught at first by Giacchetto, 2 away. I thought that ball was hit deeper than it was. But in 2020, Overbrook and Gloucester City made a 1-for-1 swap. Gloucester City was in the Tri-County Conference, and Overbrook was in the Colonial. They decided to make that switch. In fact, at Audubon High School in the hallway, they still have the banners of the Colonial schools, and Overbrook is still there. Ooh, tough play. Throw to first. Giacchetto can't get there. McCullough looked like he tripped over his own feet maybe. He couldn't keep his balance, and as he was going away, got that throw down to first, but that'll be, I think that's a base hit for Wood. We have a pinch hitter. Number 15, that's Tyler Balducci.
Now batting for the Rams, number 15, Tyler Balducci.
It's a 2 outs, 1 runner on. Wood with the single. And now Balducci swings and misses. But, yeah, in Gloucester City's gym, the Gloucester Fieldhouse, there's still banners from both the Colonial side and the Tri-County side because of how recently they switched. But, of course, conference realignment happens. It's not as drastic as it is at the college level, but the only real switch that I'm aware of is that Wildwood is leaving the Tri-County and going to Cape Atlantic, because there's a fly ball straight away center, side, retired. 6 innings for Anthony Hedenberg. If that's it, it's a darn good performance, and he should stand high on his shoulders because that is a crazy good night. 6 Ks for him, only 4 hits, and just 3 runs. 2 of them, all 3 of them were earned. But we'll see if Hedenberg comes out for the 7th. After a quick 6th, we go to the top half. It's 10-3, Timber Creek. Tyler Berger, the pitcher, in the top of the 7th inning here from Overbrook High School, home of the Rams, as they trail this one 10-3. Tyler Berger now the 5th pitcher to enter the game. They have exhausted their staff. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's just really what they've had to do. Timber Creek hit them early, 7 batters in the first, chased Terramagra out of the game after 1. It's popped up way up there. Clement going over, and it's going to land on the roof of the dugout. Split between McNally and Clement, but Overbrook now in their 3rd game in the last 3 days. Again, I don't really know. I don't know if I was expecting Overbrook to just come out of the gate swinging more, but Timber Creek also played yesterday as well. So, how else do you slice that? There's a base hit in the right center field. Gets past the second baseman, Daly, who's now moved around to a lot of different positions as McCullough leads us off with a single.
Now batting for Timber Creek, number 42, Colin Keene.
So Keene the batter. That is hit number 13 on the day for Timber Creek. That ball is going to get away on the throw down to first. That is going to be error number 6 for Overbrook, and they just threw the ball away in the left field. And Himes is fired up. Again, that's one thing that shouldn't be left unsaid in this game is that Overbrook's defense has let them down. 6 errors. And 3 of those 6 errors have been on pickoff attempts or on stolen base attempts. Only 3 of them have been on batted balls. And that's the worst kind of error, is one that's preventable. One that is, all errors are preventable. That's why they're called errors. But one that's hit on a batted ball at least is one that's initiated towards you by the other team. If you have an error on a pickoff or on a stolen base attempt, that's more or less self-inflicted, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's on your own doing when you make an error on a pickoff or something toward that standard, but a hit ball, well, I guess they're all on your own doing. It's kind of confusing.
Well, that's what I was saying, is that 6 errors for Overbrook. 3 of them have been on batted balls, and the other 3 have been on either pickoff attempts or stolen bases. That's what makes them different.
Yep.
As that'll be ball 4 to Colin Keene, his 2nd walk of the day and his 3rd time getting on base, as Timber Creek is now getting into their 5th at-bats of the afternoon. It's going to be a strong game for Timber Creek, as regardless of what the score ends up being, this is going to be a strong performance for them going into their Myrtle Beach trip. Again, they're only playing 3 games next week in Myrtle Beach. That's going to hit Dabrowski, and the hit by pitch, blink and you miss it. It's going to be something to load the bases.
Now batting for Timber Creek, number 30, Devin Giacchetto.
So Giacchetto the batter. Already 3 RBIs for him, 2 singles and a double. So he's 3 for 3. RBI double in the first, sac fly in the 3rd, base hit in the 4th, RBI single in the 6th. So he has had either a productive out or he has had something go right from every single time. And you saw the infield there came in instead of Greg Himes coming out because he had burned his last mound visit earlier in the 6th inning. Giacchetto takes a strike. With the bases loaded, you don't have to swing too crazy here. Up by 7, station to station. Sure, he'd love a grand slam, but the best thing that he would be going for here is just an RBI. Move everybody along. Popped up, foul. But if there's one guy that you want up with nobody out and the bases loaded, it is Giacchetto with the 3 RBIs he's had already today. But again, Timber Creek has not been a team to have one player doing it all. Everybody has done their job. Every single batter has reached base. And every batter besides Chudzinski and Appalucci have hits. It has been just a pure offensive barrage. Line drive, almost hit the runner's foot, but it goes foul. He was slightly early that time.
I mean, just going back for a point, you talked about most of the lineup having hits. It was from the first batter of the game. The energy was brought from this Chargers staff, and 3 outs away from a big win. It'd be their second in a row.
Timber Creek beat CCTS in 5 innings yesterday, 12-2 in non-conference play. And Giacchetto, he just kind of froze in the box. He was either going to take it or he was going to get hit. And he ended up just taking it, and it's 2-2. And Taylor was telling him, just remember, don't give up, because that's the last thing you want to see is a strikeout looking. The philosophy is don't strike out on something that you yourself could have prevented.
Can we give the coach a player of the game? Because he has brought it today.
I mean, we've said it ad nauseum. I have yet to see a head coach with this much energy in his first season. I mean, he's setting the tone, he's setting the standard. Again, John Cates was the head coach at Timber Creek for 7 years, 2018 to 2025. Only once did he get above 12 wins in a season, and that was in his first year in 2018. This just feels like an entirely new, rejuvenated ball club. It's going to be ball 4, and it's going to be a bases-loaded walk. Coming in to score will be McCullough, and it's now going to be 11-3. I mean, listen, obviously nothing negative towards John Cates. He's a good friend of ours and also a big Dave Matthews Band fan. But, you know, obviously I think that Timber Creek saw that they wanted to go in a different direction, and that's why coaching changes are made. Cates also has his own kids that need, you know, to that he's raising as well. So there's a lot of factors that go into coaching changes, and Cates, obviously a great gentleman, great knowledge of the game of baseball, but Murphy's going to hit for Heddenberg here, so that would make me presume that Heddenberg will not come out for the 7th. And that hit him. So another run scores on the bases loaded, and it's 12-3. So Monitzer scores.
For Timber Creek, number 7, Preston Williams.
Going back to the coaching change for a second, we talked about it, that Taylor seemed like the right hire for this program, and so far it seems to be paying off. And talking to him before the game, it's basically an entire new staff, JV, freshman up to varsity.
And that's sometimes something that you need. I mean, again, Timber Creek is not a bad team. They haven't been a bad team. But there are some seasons where, you know, the expectations are high, and then they just don't have what it takes. This ball's clubbed left field off the bat of Williams, going back. It is off the bottom of the wall. They were waiting for the ball to drop. 2 runners will score, and it's 14-3. Timber Creek, 11-run lead, 2-run double for Williams.
Inches away from a grand slam, but what a swing. One hop of fence. Timber Creek adds on.
And this will be a 4-run inning here as Overbrook. They will have to, I mean, there's still nobody out. They are going to have to regroup after today because we'll see them on Tuesday versus Pennsville. This one's popped up. Should be the first out of the inning, but maybe. Yes!
Play.
Caught by Tyler Wood at first. Amazing play to dive for it. And Greg Himes fired up in a good way this time. As he gets the first out of the inning. Great diving catch by Wood. And in an 11-run game, 14-3, sometimes those are the little things that matter. As Chudzinski will be the batter with 1 away, 2 runners in scoring position. So another blooper can blow this game open even further. Ooh, that hit his foot on the backswing, and it's 0-2. In the bottom of the 7th inning, again, we're maybe seeing that Cody Murphy is going to come in for Anthony Heddenberg or another pitcher entirely. It'll be 9-1-2 in the bottom of the 7th. Jim Green, Chase Teramagra, and Cooper Himes, who took Heddenberg deep in the 5th inning for Overbrook's best offense so far of the day. Swing and a miss. He got him. And Berger picks up his first strikeout. That's batter number 8 of the inning, and after 6 straight reached, McCullough had a single, Keene walked, Dabrowski was hit by the pitch. We had 4 straight batters that didn't put the ball in play out of those 6 that reached. Keene walked, Dabrowski was hit, Giacchetto walked, Murphy was hit, and then Williams had that club to left that was a 2-run double, and then we've had 2 straight outs from there. So 4 runs on only 2 hits. With a fly ball to center, Teramagra, it's going to drop. 2 more runs are going to score. 16-3, Timber Creek. And I could not have imagined that this is how this game was going to be today.
Yeah, Timber Creek, like I said, from the first pitch, they've just been the better team today. And Overbrook, like you said, they're going to have to wash this one away, come back tomorrow probably for practice, and then take Sunday off, practice Monday, and go play a talented Pennsville team.
And again, we'll see them at Ed Rieger Field for 4 o'clock first pitch. Fred Swartz will be on the call with us on Tuesday for that game. After Tuesday, they'll be on the road at Shalleck on Thursday the 9th for their their second Tri-County Diamond game, and then Woodstown on the 13th at home. They've got 5 home games coming up after spring break. Ground ball to the gap at short. Throw to second is in time, and the inning is over. It is a 13-run lead for Timber Creek. As we said when we were going into this game, we didn't choose this game because we thought it was going to be a 13-run lead. We chose it because we didn't expect Timber Creek to be this good this early. Miles Taylor putting together a good early resume on our tapes, though, as going to the bottom of the 7th, new pitcher for Timber Creek. It'll be number 16 on the hill, which will be Michael Horan. And we go to the bottom of the 7th, 13-run lead. Michael Horan is the new pitcher for Timber Creek. Has 1 inning this year versus Washington Township, gave up 3 runs. And he'll face Overbrook with a 13-run cushion. McLaughlin will be the batter. Haran has had very limited innings since his sophomore year rather. Had 6 2/3 as a sophomore with 12 walks, 5 Ks, and a 7.35 ERA. Only had 2 1/3 as a junior with a 21 ERA, 7 earned runs, 7 walks, 3 Ks, and as we mentioned, 1 appearance, 1 inning versus Washington Township. New batter hitting for Jim Green is Francis McLaughlin. Just his second career at bat. His first came versus Deptford yesterday. That one sails. But again, with a 13-run lead in the 7th inning, you don't have to worry about a mercy rule because the game's going to end either way. But 10 batters came to the plate, 6 runs across on just 3 hits to make that a 16-3 game. There's just some times where you have those days where you're not expecting it. And I tell people, I say, listen, we've had some interesting luck in these games so far. We don't schedule these games because we think that they're going to be blowouts for one side. We schedule them because we genuinely think they're going to be close. And sometimes we're wrong. But you also can't predict the 6 errors that Overbrook had in the field or the amount of pure offense that Timber Creek had, including that 5-run 4th and 6-run 7th that really put this game away. 3-1 to McLaughlin is upstairs, and he'll take a walk. Still has yet to record an at-bat at the high school level. He scored 2 runs and has 1 hit by pitch, which does not count as an at-bat. Back to the top for Terramagre. So 9-1-2. Terramagre, the batter now. He started this game on the hill for Overbrook, gave up 3 runs in the first. It's hard to believe that this game is going to be about 2 hours, 20 minutes in length because it feels like the first 3 innings were super quick. And then innings 4, 5, 6, and 7 have been stunningly slow in terms of the pace of play. Just came to a grinding halt.
It was that 5-run inning. Took a while.
Took the wind out of everybody's sails today. Throw back to first, not in time. Again, we'll be on the air tomorrow for the Sports Farm Youth Football Classic in Atlantic City. There will be 2 broadcasts going on of the event at the 2 locations. Our good friends over at HSG Network have one half of the action at Atlantic City High School. We will have the other half of the action at Dolphin Field in the Venice Park neighborhood of Atlantic City. Our next baseball game will be on Monday, April the 6th, between Cinnaminson and Doan Academy at 10 a.m. on Monday the 6th. We'll follow that up with Tri-County Diamond Baseball the same day at 4 o'clock between Woodstown and Glassboro. 1-1. Lowe skips away. Runner goes to second. That'll move McLaughlin in the scoring position on the wild pitch. Again, for a guy like Haran, less than 10 varsity innings under his belt. This is his 10th varsity inning. Not a lot of pressure here. I mean, obviously, you want to keep this game as far away as possible from you, or as the lead as wide as possible, but obviously bringing in a guy with less experience, a run here probably won't hurt you. Someone gets away from Keene. Able to slide it and pick it up, though. Some fun aggressiveness there from Keene. Counts 3-1 here. Strike called. Three balls, 2 strikes. Three balls, 2 strikes. To Terramagre with a runner in scoring position and Francis McLaughlin. Takes a couple of big steps. He's going. Throw down to third is going to be in time. So Keene throws the runner out at third. It is a walk to Terramagra. So that will put a runner on, but the runner gets aggressive. I guess no real harm in being aggressive down by 13. And now Miles Taylor will come out and talk to his pitcher, Haran. He's going to bring Keene out with him. Actually, the whole infield will come out to talk here. But again, this is a more or less a getaway game for Timber Creek before they play 3 opponents in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina next week. They'll play 2 opponents from Ohio and then a school from Lincoln County, Kentucky. I believe that's just outside of the Louisville area, but got a runner on first, one away. This broadcast is brought to you by our friends over at, I don't know why I was blanking on the name, the South Jersey chapter of the National Adult Baseball Association. Doesn't make me a good advertiser, but no, the South Jersey National Adult Baseball Association, New Jersey's top premier men's league for baseball in South Jersey. 20 teams across 4 highly competitive divisions. Competition has started, but it's never too late to register for a team or even for the fall season. Visit their website, SouthJerseyNABA.com, for more info. Sorry, Mr. Donovan Schmidt, for me messing up your ad read there. Throwback to first, not in time. After Timber Creek returns from their spring break trip, they'll have their first Tri-County Liberty games versus Triton on Tuesday the 14th and Wednesday the 15th. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Tri-County Liberty teams got together and decided to run with the Cape Atlantic League style of divisional scheduling, back-to-back for division games, playing all of their games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. One ball, no strikes to Cooper Himes. He took Edinburgh deep in the 5th inning. That one's low. Keene throws, and the ball goes in. It hit the runner. That ball would have gone into center field, but nobody was covering the bag, and the runner ended up getting plunked with the baseball. So it'll be a stolen bag for Terramagra. And because Keene did throw the ball, it does not count as defensive indifference. That is a stolen base for Terramagra. Defensive indifference, people think that defensive indifference only matters if the game is a blowout, but defensive indifference only applies if the catcher does not make an effort to throw the ball and try to get the runner out.
Yeah, really all those like first or third plays when they don't throw it down the second, those are technically defensive indifference.
Well, it's not technically. They are defensive indifference. If the catcher doesn't make an effort and those runners advance uncontested, it is defensive indifference. But I understand where you're coming from, where sometimes that will get logged as a stolen base incorrectly. So Himes walks. Haran has now allowed 3 walks, and he'd have nobody out in the bases loaded if not for the stolen base attempt at third that was cut down. One out, 2 on. Strike called. Yeah, both of these teams, I think, are going to be going in different directions. Obviously, a non-divisional game, a Group 2 win over a Group 3 would have been nice for Overbrook, but Overbrook's going to be hurting today after that, if this lead holds at 13. Honestly, even if the lead doesn't hold and if Overbrook gets 3-4 runs back in this inning, and if they fall 16-6 or 16-7, it's still going to hurt. Because in the top of the 7th, they were down by 13 runs, and that's not something that, makes anybody feel good. So, especially a game that they could have had, when they got that 1 run back with 4-1, felt like Overbrook was getting their ducks back in a row. And that one's high, 2-1. So again, Haran has walked 3 batters here, and has only been bailed out with the 1 runner. Chopper back to the mound. Could be a double play. Throw. They will say that the runner was out. He tagged the bag. And they'll get the 1 out on a 1-6 fielder's choice. They'll bring up Tyler Berger. So the runner Himes is out at second. Terramagra goes to third. There's 2 away in the bottom of the 7th.
Now batting for the Rams, number 4, Tyler Berger.
Again, the final line for Anthony Hedenberg is 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, and 6 Ks. This could do it. Ground ball to short. Throw to first is low, and it gets away from Giacchetto. Berger's going to go to second. 1 run will score. Runner is going to get in between third and home, and he's going to hold up there. But Overbrook gets a run back, and it's now 16-4. Runners on second and third, as that'll be a throwing error on the shortstop in McCullough. It's just a second error. So Teramagra scored on that play, the E6, second error in the field against the Chargers. 8 total errors in the game. That one's low, but 6 of them have been against Overbrook. And as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 3 of those 6 errors for Overbrook were not on batted balls. They were on throwing errors by either the pitcher or the catcher on pickoffs or stolen base attempts. And again, that's something that they're going to have to focus on. Throw back to third, tries to back pick, not in time. And it's 1-1. I mean, Overbrook committed 4 errors in their win over Glassboro and committed 2 versus Deptford in their 15-3 win. So that now makes for 12 errors in 3 games. Ball gets away. Keene keeps a keen eye on it, and it's 2-1. Overbrook and Timber Creek would go to 2-1 on the season. This would be the 2nd straight win for Creek after beating CCTS 12-2. And for Overbrook, it would be their first loss of the season after beating Glassboro and Deptford back-to-back days. Fouled back, and it's 2-2. So Mike Horan getting back into it now. He had walked the first 3 batters he had faced, and then McNally had the 1-6 fielder's choice, was the first one to put the ball in play. And then Berger had the E6 that got the run home. 2 in scoring position, 2 down. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Ball game on the line. Horan, low, goes to the chest of Keene. I mean, one thing I'm noticing is that Horan here, his breaking balls are really diving way lower than he wants it to. So they're hitting right around in front of the plate, but his fastballs seem fine. It's just the breaking balls that are something that needs work. Otherwise, he's doing well, though. 3-2. Up high, they'll back pick again, but it's ball 4, and the bases are loaded here for Clement as, oh my goodness, the sun is coming out. Took him long enough. Taylor's going to take Horan out of the game, though. So Miles Taylor will pull Mike Horan, as this is going to be the 7th batter of the inning for Overbrook, with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. This game seems like it's in hand, but Timber Creek keeping a short leash on their relief. As Horan comes out, we'll see who their new pitcher is. It's going to be number 8, which is Carter Condis, the sophomore. 3rd pitcher for Creek comes in. Overbrook has the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 7th when we return. Correction, Demetrius Rago is the pitcher. Only had 1 inning this season for the junior right-hander. Had 2 walks in a scoreless frame versus Washington Township on opening day. He's got the bases loaded and 2 outs, and on 1 pitch, this could do it. Ground ball to short. McCullough's there. Throw to first is in time. 1 pitch, and the ball game is over. Rago gets out of it. He leaves the bases loaded, and a 12-run victory here for the Chargers as they hand Overbrook their first loss of the season, 16-4. That was shocking. I mean, I don't know if you told me when I got here at 10 o'clock this morning that it would have been 16-4, I would have been surprised because Timber Creek, we haven't seen them before, and we weren't expecting this kind of energy from them today. I think they have put myself and a lot of people on notice with this performance.
I would agree with you. I don't think anybody expected this outcome, especially a 12-run win for the Chargers, but they were high energy from the first pitch on. That first inning, a 3-run first inning, kind of set the picture, and Overbrook really never got any momentum going their way. This Miles Taylor program for Timber Creek is off to a fabulous start. I've never seen a head coach with so much energy. He probably had the most energy on this baseball field today without, and Timber Creek has put the Tri-County, their division, on watch. They put Group 3, a talented Group 3 at that, on watch as well. A good win for Timber Creek over Overbrook.
Yeah, and even though Overbrook, came back a little bit, they definitely seemed a little bit deflated today. That defense, though, is what they're going to have to work on because they committed 6 errors in the field, and they've now committed 12 in their first 3 games of the year. So if that's something that's going to be a sticking point for them this year, and if they're going to come back from that, that will be the big sticking point, is the defense. Come back from that, find a way. I mean, listen, I also can't entirely fault them because this was the back end of 3 straight games in a row. They walked off Glassboro on Wednesday. They put 15 up versus Deptford. They used 5 pitchers in those first 2 games. They were a little bit exhausted for arms, and we saw 2 pitchers for Overbrook today that were making their first varsity appearance. So Timber Creek, I think, pounced at the right time. If these teams had met without with the day of rest in between, I think it would have been a little bit different. But as it goes, Timber Creek, I think they are the ones that that very much surprised me today, and I'll be excited to see them later this month versus Cumberland, because with Cumberland, another team that's on the rise, another team that's in a little bit of a different direction, only won 5 games last year, now they're 4-1. They played a very good Cherry Hill West team yesterday. It'll be interesting to see how the Chargers develop, but easily player of the game, Anthony Hedenberg.
Yeah, he was fabulous today on the mound, 6 innings strong, and the two-way star for this Timber Creek team. I really liked him. He worked off-speed in and worked the fastball well, and he pitched with a lead. I think a lot of guys in South Jersey don't really understand that. You have a lead, just pitch. Let you got a defense behind you that can field. For Overbrook, as you mentioned, if they clean up this defense, I'm not too worried about them. Their offense can pitch, or their offense can hit, and they got some pitchers that can deal. And Himes, he hit a home run today, so Overbrook, they got to clean it up and wash this one away, and they'll be okay.
Yeah, Himes' home run felt like the big highlight for Overbrook. Obviously, a pretty hitter-friendly ballpark if you're hitting it to center field, but it's one of those rare ballparks where it's pitcher-friendly down the lines and hitter-friendly to the center field gap. So I'm intrigued to see how Overbrook handles this. They're going to take Easter weekend, they're going to reset, and for Timber Creek, this is a getaway day. They've got 3 games down in Myrtle Beach. If they can win 2 of those 3 going into their first divisional matchup versus Triton a week from today, or excuse me, the 14th and 15th, Tuesday and Wednesday of April, then I'm excited for Timber Creek. I think that they could, maybe not to get too early, but I think that they could lock up a top 8 or 10 seed in South Jersey Group 3, a field that looks like it's kind of all over the place. Like, Mainland was a pretty top seed in South Jersey Group 3, but with their recent developments, we don't really know where that's going to go. We don't know. It seems like they're still winning ball games with Billy Kern, but we don't really know where Group 3 is going to stand. Delsey could have a down year. Cherry Hill West could have a down year. It could be a whole lot of different things. And last year, South Jersey Group 3 was all I don't want to call them non-South Jersey, but they were both Tom's River teams that are more closer to the shore and our shore conference opponents. So it's a little bit different. But today, Timber Creek, they were the better team, and they put on a really fun show that, as you said during the broadcast, didn't really feel like a blowout for most of the game until those 6 runs came across in the 7th. even when it was 10-3, it still felt like Overbrook was in the game, and it just felt like Timber Creek had all gears running.
Yeah, throughout most of the game until really that 6-run inning in the 7th, it felt like Overbrook could strike back at any time, but Timber Creek just stomped them more into the ground and kept the foot on the gas pedal, which is what coaches love to see, and Miles Taylor's got to be happy with his program. Back-to-back wins for Timber Creek, and real quick for Group 3, as you mentioned, there's a lot of sneaky good teams in that group. Clearview can strike at any time, and this Timber Creek, I put them right up there with Clearview.
Well, that'll be all for us today on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting here on Good Friday. Time of game, 2 hours and 29 minutes here from Pine Hill, New Jersey. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Caleb Lane, Carson Rosso, and Fisher Giannotti, my producer and color commentator from Rowan University, David Cohen. I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you on